you want to know how to get monster traps, I have 3 tips for you today. So stay tuned and I'm going to show you how. Alright, so tip number 1 for your traps. Probably the biggest mistake I see people making in the gym with traps is bouncing. Just bouncing. What I want you to do is every time you do a shrug, I want you to hold it at the top for 2 seconds. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Take all the momentum out of it. 1, 2. Now, what I typically like to have people do is 3 to 4 sets of 12. And again, you're doing that 2-second hold. It will absolutely smoke your traps when you're doing it that way. This goes for barbells also. So if you're doing barbell shrugs, same thing, 1, 2. Now, the other thing is don't roll. There's an old school mentality where guys roll. Just come straight up. Boom, straight up, straight down. 1, 2, okay? So 3 to 4 sets of 12 on your shrugs with a 2-second pause. If you want to get a little crazy, do a 3-second pause. That's tip. All right, so tip number 2. The first tip we had, the pauses, I want you to do those first. Now what I want you to do is follow up with a deadlift. Your traps are pre-exhausted. I want you to follow up with a deadlift off the floor, but I want you to do a shrug each time you do a pull. So just watch how I do these. So every time you do a pull, you do a shrug. Now, if it's too easy, do 2 shrugs, okay? So typically what we do on these is 4 to 5 sets of about 5 or 6 reps with 2 shrugs. You can start with 1. So if you do these after you did those 2-second holds, and by the way, you don't need to hold on these, your traps will be absolutely smoked at this point. 3 or 4 sets, maybe even 5, around 6 reps, 1 pause or 1 rep at the top, or you can do 2. And again, you don't need to pause these, just up and down. All right, that's tip number 2. All right, so your third tip is, it's really a slide lateral that you do for your rear delts. But you know how I'm always telling you to keep your arms straight and to really pivot with your shoulder to isolate your rear delts? Now we actually don't want to do that. Now you actually do want to bend your arms and you do want to engage your traps. So it's kind of like a sloppy form of a rear delt raise. Now, if you've already done the pauses and the deadlift shrugs, I don't know if you can handle doing these on top of it, but give it a try if you want. These are absolutely scorchers. So we typically do about 3 sets of 12 to 15 on these. So here's the form. So again, if you notice, I'm bending my arms, I'm using my traps, which is what I tell you not to do when you're doing your rear delts. So you can split that up. You can do 1 exercise on Monday, 1 on Tuesday, 1 on Wednesday, 1 on Friday, or you could do them all in one day. Personally, I think if your traps are a weak point, it'd be really cool to do 1 of those exercises Monday, 1 on Wednesdays, and 1 on Friday. So you're hitting them 3 times a week, and it's a slightly different angle each time. I think if you do that for 3 or 4 weeks, you'll see a pretty big difference. So give that a shot and let me know how it feels. Comment below and let me know how it feels. Are you getting a really good pump in your traps? Are they burning? Do you see them growing? So that's it for traps. Thanks. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.